Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Legend of Korra video. This is going to be a combination initial reaction and also analysis video on the Legend of Korra Book 4 Balance trailer. For this first part of the video, I actually haven't seen the trailer yet. Actually, I have my laptop here and I'm actually going to watch it kind of live on camera so you can see my reaction to it. And then I'm going to watch the trailer a few more times, get some screenshots, analyze it, and the second half of this video after the cut is going to be like proper discussion on it. But for now, let's start this trailer. Okay, flashbacks. Okay, Korra's done some important stuff, but is suffering. Okay, still all book 3 stuff so far. 3 years later, flash forward, so that's pretty interesting. Straight away. Is that Korra cutting her hair with a sword, or was that Kuvira? I don't know. I assume it's Korra. Book 4, Balance, and what seems to be like the Earth Kingdom within a kind of metal prison. So is it maybe some sort of Earth Kingdom, the final season, Earth Kingdom, Zhao Fu kind of rebellion type thing. Was it Janora's? I don't know. I'm confused. Lots of stuff happening here. There's Kuvira. There's Korra. Korra in some Earth Kingdom outfits. Airships everywhere. More Korra stuff. Skydiving. More robots. I assume Varric makes those. Here's Korra in a new outfit. More Kuvira. Flying wingsuits. Oh wow, this is pretty intense. Is that a Sammy? Everyone's got new outfits definitely for the 3-year advancement of time. Oh, there's Bolin. So he seems like he's some sort of Zhao guard. Oh, there's Iki for a second there. That was pretty interesting. Korra with her new hair, I think. And Korra in the wheelchair, poor beaten up. More Kuvira, so it seems like Kuvira is the main kind of villain of the book, so to speak. At least based on this. There's Katara. More Kuvira. Was it Julie in one of those new mecha tank type things? Spirit World, that's very nice. So, a lot to comprehend there, just because, as usual, these trailers have a lot of cuts and stuff like that, but overall, that's... Oh wow, Toph. That's it right at the end. That was unexpected anyway. But yeah, let me just stop this from going on to the next video. But yeah, that was initial thoughts are kind of like, I don't know what to say. There was a lot going on there. It was kind of, everyone's obviously like grown up 3 years, so it was hard to keep track of like who's who just based on that. It was pretty crazy, but I'm looking forward to watching it again and like kind of slow mo, kind of going through it, give me some thoughts. And even though we've already seen a like preview clip that seems to be in the present day, I kind of wonder where these 3 years, where the time skip actually happens. Like, Korra says she's going away for a week, but like, is she away from the group for 3 years? Like, recovering? That seems intense. And like, when she like finally returns or something like that, is the place in turmoil led by Kuvira, or what's going on? But yeah, that's my initial thoughts. Just so you know, I probably will be doing like a video like this with my reactions to the book 4 finale. Like, I'll do it on camera. Admittedly, it'll probably be just like me on camera, just like this for like 20 minutes, like just talking. But I may end up doing something like that. But yeah, so I'm gonna cut now, watch it again, and I'll have some analysis after the cut. Okay, so now here is the analysis part of my video. So yeah, I'm just going to put up a bunch of screenshots from the trailer on screen and talk about them. I spent a good half an hour going through the trailer second by second to really pick out the most interesting parts of the trailer. So even though I can't upload the full thing for you guys, I think just through all these screenshots and this discussion, you're going to get everything you need to know out of the trailer here. So the first thing is obviously Book 4 Balance, and then early on, after a few kind of clips from Book 3, it skips to this shot of 3 years later. So big time skip going into
most of book four, which is interesting simply because the one clip that we have of book four before this is set in the present day. So the big question, given that this whole trailer seems to be set 3 years later, apart from one or two scenes, um, is when does this time skip happen? Korra says she's going away for a week or two. So does something happen during this time that causes her to kind of go off on her own journey for like 3 years? Does she recover and then we cut to 3 years, or what? Like, I'm very interested to see where they go and like where they actually put this cut in place. But anyway, let's go through some of the shots I have here. The first couple of shots here are just some of the newer character designs. Because obviously it's 3 years later. We've got a bunch of kind of teenage slash young characters, and now we're going to see them a bit more, grown up. So first one here is of Kai and Opal in their airbender wingsuits, which is really cool, completely makes sense. This seems to be the kind of trend in a lot of things these days. Put wingsuits into it. How to Train Your Dragon did it. Transformers 3 did it, I think, as well. And now Avatar's doing it. It makes complete sense for airbenders, so they don't have to carry around a glider all the time just to fly about the place. And this is a pretty cool idea. And then Kai looks roughly the same. His hair's looks a little bit longer, and obviously he's a bit taller. Opal, again, slightly different hairstyle, and again, looks just older and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool to see. Next one here is just a kind of this is the first time in the trailer we saw the Air Kids together. So at some point they end up in this swamp. Is this the swamp from the episode The Swamp in Book 2 of Avatar? Possibly just because of all the plant bending that appears to be going on here, or else their bison got caught up in the vines. Now, is the bison Oogie, or is this a kind of one of the baby sky bison that they got? Maybe this is Janora's one specifically. But we see all three of the Air Kids there, all in their older designs. So we'll just cut to the next one, which is obviously Janora a bit closer up and see what her new hairstyle is like. She's got her arrow tattoos, obviously. That's a key point. And you can see that she also has the wingsuit and looks a bit older as well. Next one, you can see a better shot of Iki and Milo. Obviously, Milo has some hair now. Iki's hair is a lot longer, so that's an interesting idea that the new airbenders, they seem to have relaxed their stance on some of their rules and customs. So Milo's allowed to grow his hair out, apparently, and stuff like that. And neither of them have their arrow tattoos, so that more or less makes sense. Janora, the whole idea of her being a master airbender, I suppose, is that she's now defeated Aang's record. So for 3 years, I think there's a 3 year gap between Iki and Janora, so it wouldn't really make sense for Iki, who's not as good as an airbender as Janora, to get her tattoos this soon or stuff like that. But I think it's in this shot you can really see that the bison definitely looks different than Oogie, so it probably is one of those younger bison, now 3 years old. Next up, we have Bolin, and this is his older design. Nothing too different. You can just see that he definitely looks a little bit older, and he appears to be part of either the Republic City Police Force as like a metal bending kind of, not metal bending, just as an officer, or else he's a part of the Zhao Fu guard or something like that, or I'm not really sure, or else he was allied with Kuvira, as I'll talk about in a moment, and has kind of, when he's seen what she's done, has kind of turned against her here. But either way, pretty cool design. Next, we get our first look at Asami and Mako in the trailer. And obviously Mako looks like he has kind of military gear on almost. It doesn't like massively look like kind of police officer gear, but maybe he's like super high up in the police force now or something like that, or has maybe joined the military in some role. But either way, definitely looks a little bit older, and you can see Asami has a new hairstyle too, along with some new outfits. Yeah, we'll see another shot of her later on, and we'll talk about that more. Next, you can see one of Korra's other outfits that we see a lot of in this trailer. This seems to be kind of like traveling the Earth Kingdom outfit, green and stuff like that. Got the stuff around her arms, which I kind of like that they continue that even in this design. That she likes having sort of wraps around her kind of wrists and arms and stuff like that. It's definitely an interesting look for her, and yeah, it's kind of hard to tell just there's so many changes of outfits and stuff like that in this trailer. It's like which happens first or anything like that. Here's another look at Asami. You can sort of see her hairstyle is a little bit different and stuff like that. She's in a fight with one of these enemies on top of the airship. Next, we'll move away from talking about like new characters and get into maybe some of the story that is presented to us in this trailer. So the first one here is this image here, which this I think showcases best, even though there's a scene that happens before this that probably shows it first in the trailer. But this is obviously Korra as she was in the fight with Zahir at the end of book 3, with the chains around her arms and the avatar state and stuff like this. And the key thing is this, obviously because I can't show the video, but this scene lasts like 2 seconds long. 1 second this Korra in the avatar state is there, the next this image is gone. Then let's talk about the next image, which is earlier on in the trailer. Same Korra in the avatar state with the chains around her arm, but in the swamp section. So it seems like add this plus the trailer that we've seen where Korra has actually had a nightmare about this exact situation when she was in the avatar state and was nearly killed. Korra seems like she's going to be in a way kind of haunted, or is just going to struggle with what happened at the end of book 3 for a very long time, and maybe this is what this journey is about, and maybe going to the spirit world or this journey of enlightenment she's going on is kind of bringing this out in full force. In that throughout this trailer, like if you go back to that image of Korra that I showed you where she's shooting water up out of the ground, maybe she's fighting this version of herself somehow or something like that. It seems really interesting anyway. But we'll cut to the next one, which is probably the first shot you see of Korra in the trailer. At least I think it's Korra, just because but again, I'm not even sure about that. It looks like it's Korra because she has the wrist wraps, but she also doesn't have those things around her biceps. But at the same time, when she cuts her hair, it looks like it's the exact same way as it kind of becomes in her new book 4 outfit. And definitely note the knife that she uses, because that appears again in the trailer, as I'll talk about in a moment. But either way, she has a kind of Zuko and Iroh-esque moment where she kind of cuts off some of her hair with a kind of ceremonial kind of knife type thing. Next one is just Korra in that kind of design with the shorter hair, in a pool of kind of liquid metal being kind of like trapped underneath. She's been beaten up a bit. So is this part of this kind of hallucination, illusion, or something like that in the swamp that she's seeing, where maybe she faces herself as she was at the end of book 3 and basically loses the fight, and she herself kind of is like metal bending her with this kind of pool of mercury that kind of injured her so badly and is probably the most traumatic thing to ever happen to her, which causes her to go on the rest of the journey as we see throughout the book. But again, it's a bit confusing because some of it seems to be kind of illusion, kind of in her head, enlightenment, sort of spiritual stuff, and then some of it seems perfectly real, like the next image here, which seems to be Korra at what is effectively, one of the next Earth Rumbles or something like this. Like she enters one of these Earth Rumble tournaments here, which, given that a reveal at the end of this, like, could play into a character we all know and love in the episode she was introduced in. But either way, Korra entering one of these kind of non-sanctioned earthbending tournaments seems like a really cool idea. Then we see her in the desert for some reason. Again, it's hard to see, but I think she's in her green outfit as well here, which again, the desert's also in the Earth Kingdom, but she was also there last book, so what's she doing here? The next one is her in the swamp, in what looks like one of those positions where, like, she goes there, everyone's separated, and it almost really feels like the episode The Swamp, where Katara, Aang, and Sokka got separated, and as they kind of stayed still, something in the swamp happened to them, and maybe this is where the fight with her kind of inner self kind of comes from. Next, though, we cut to this kind of shot of, I think it's definitely Korra. Again, it's hard to make out, but Korra walking across this kind of molten lava field, and again, I'm not sure, is this in the spirit world, is it in the real world, or what? It's honestly, the trailer is confusing as to like what's like physical world, what's spiritual world, but there's a possibility that this is someplace in the physical world, because obviously the Avatar Roku's home on that island was obviously kind of completely like turned to ash and stuff like that. So maybe she's walking across there as a way to kind of reconnect to the past avatars or something like that. She appears to also have something on her back, but it may just be like a backpack or something like that. I don't think it could be anything important. Next, we see Korra in some Earth Kingdom place with some crystal catacombs. Again, I don't really know what this is. There's a few shots of Korra in this where something shocking happens. But either way, it's one of the first shots we see of her in her, official Book 4 design. Then we also have Korra also in her official Book 4 design with who I think is Mako, as they enter this building which has two Order of White Lotus guards, and the doors just open before them. So it's some special Order of White Lotus place. Maybe their main headquarters, perhaps, and maybe Mako's a part of the Order of White Lotus and is bringing Korra there to learn something. Maybe, I'm not really sure. But we also have Korra in her kind of green gear again, going to, I think that's the northern spirit portal, uh, just because I don't think they'd focus so much on the southern one again, and it would make sense if she goes to the northern one, maybe, but I'm not really sure again. But that leads into the next one, the next shot I have here, which is Korra in the spirit world, and we see her potentially able to do that technique that Zahir did, where he kind of, in a way, teleported or sped to a different part of the spirit world very quickly. Just the idea that perhaps she's now mastered using the spirit world, where her emotions and kind of thoughts and stuff like that can affect the world around her. Does that make sense? Next up, some more plot here. This guy behind Mako here. Obviously, Mako's defending this guy. Perhaps he's not a bender. But he seems fairly important because he also appears in this next shot here. You can see in the background again, Mako's kind of guarding him in the background. Korra's blocking this metal attack. Asami's in the background, and then the guy in the green is like in a box or something like that. It looks like they're maybe on a ship somewhere. But let's move away from that stuff into the Kuvira stuff, which is obviously the villain kind of stuff, who they're fighting anyway. So the symbol of this book, obviously, before balance, is this symbol here, which is the Earth Kingdom symbol within this kind of metal prison. So maybe the idea around these guys is that they want control over the Earth Kingdom as metal benders, and maybe they want what am I trying to say here? Maybe they want the Earth Kingdom to be known as like the Metal Kingdom or something like that. So they're taking over the whole Earth Kingdom and trying to rename it as the Metal Kingdom or something like that. Because I suppose the idea here is Kuvira is from Xiaofu. She realized that all the metal benders, the city of Xiaofu, is like the best city in the world, and maybe it's kind of been changed, and now thinks that this should be spread across the whole world, and wants that to be the case, or something like that. That's the kind of idea that I'm getting, is that like metal is above all else, or something like that. And obviously she's got the old guy there as maybe her advisor, maybe he's her father, and the two lieutenant guys, who obviously Asami fights one of them in one part of the trailer, and I assume the other guy will maybe be Bolin will fight him or something like that. But the key thing is that it looks like these people are wearing the same armor that Bolin was wearing, so maybe he was, as I said before, formerly a part of these guys, but now he's not. But let's move on. Obviously, they've got tons of airships, tons of these kind of new mecha tank things. As we can see here, they're much more advanced than the previous ones. They look a lot more just like robots. Maybe these were made by Varric, because obviously he had the whole test armor suit thing, and with 3 years maybe he had enough time to actually make these things work. Note the kind of canister like things on the back of their kind of on the back of these things that seem to be the power sources, because we'll see them later in a screenshot I'm going to show you guys. But definitely a lot more advanced than usual, and they've got the logo of this new kind of faction. They can also shoot fire out, which is interesting. Then there's this thing, which links into Korra's new outfit that she seems to have, the green one anyway. Note the sword there seems like basically a double-bladed version of the sword that Korra used to cut her hair. This guy's swinging on maybe a metal or just a normal rope vine with the sword, and we don't know who he is. But maybe Korra, this is maybe part of her spiritual enlightenment that she goes to see this place, but I'm not sure. Now, here we go. Here's the Varric image, and note the canisters in the background. Maybe they're the power sources that are powering these machines. And then you kind of wonder, is Varric working for this new group, or is he a good guy, or what? Who knows? But then you see Sue in the next image, and it looks like kind of they've been overtaken in Zhaofu or something like that. Sue either looks like she's in one of these kind of machines herself, or is kind of captured in and is kind of trapped in platinum. And it seems like the people beside her are Wei and Wing, her sons. We see Katara's also in the trailer at some point, healing Korra. So that's maybe where one of the big conversations happens, where maybe this promotes the Katara gives her advice on like this journey to take, and maybe it takes 3 years to kind of for Korra to fully heal before she can go on this journey or something like that. Next one, Zhu Li in some military gear and also in one of these kind of new mecha tank things. So that maybe adds credence to the fact that Varric joins up with the villains and maybe has a change of heart and kind of overall is good in the end. Then, what we've been waiting for. This looks like Zuko's daughter here sitting beside Raiko and Zuko himself. Very interesting design. To me, kind of, does it give you a hint as to like in terms of like genes, like who does she look like? I can definitely see a sense of like a mix of Zuko and Mei in there, perhaps. So that'll be interesting if we get the reveal of who exactly is her mother. And then finally, the one at the end, like as you probably heard earlier on in this video, my initial reaction, I thought the trailer was over, and then all of a sudden it just comes back and it's just like Toph, and I'm like, yes, Toph's coming back, and obviously this seems to be like Korra's kind of journey. Like she started some journey, she got defeated, and ended up in this spot where she found Toph, and that maybe leads her on to the rest of her journey, or this is the end of her journey. I don't really know, but either way, Toph is coming into the series as a main character. I think most people suspected it would happen, but just to finally get confirmation is great. But yeah, that's my analysis. Definitely let me know in the comments below if you like any of my theories, if you have any theories of your own. Is there anything else in the trailer I didn't maybe point out myself, any screenshots that were of interest to you that you didn't see in the video? But yeah, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.